Have you ever gotten home from a shopping trip, excited to try on your new clothes or test out that gadget you've had your eye on, only to realize something wasn't quite right? Maybe it didn't fit, wasn't what you expected, or maybe you just had second thoughts. You go to return it, receipt in hand, and then you hear those dreaded words. Sorry, no refunds. It's a deflating experience, and it leaves you wondering, do they even have the right to do that? The truth is, return policies can feel like a maze of fine print and confusing regulations, and they vary wildly from country to country. What might fly in one part of the world could get you slapped with a store credit, at best, in another. So tonight, we're diving deep into the world of return policies. We'll be your guide through the consumer landscape, arming you with the knowledge you need to navigate those tricky return counters. Here in the United States, we like to think we have a pretty good grasp on consumer rights. We pride ourselves on the freedom to choose, the freedom to shop, and the freedom to return items that don't meet our expectations. But when it comes to refunds, the reality is a bit more complicated. Many shoppers find themselves puzzled when they try to return an item, only to be met with unexpected hurdles. There's no overarching federal law dictating a universal return policy. This means that the rules can vary widely, creating a confusing landscape for consumers. Instead, it's a patchwork of state laws and individual store policies. Each state has its own set of regulations, and each store can implement its own rules, making it a bit of a maze to navigate. Now, some states, like California, have strong consumer protection laws that give shoppers a fighting chance. These laws are designed to ensure that consumers are treated fairly and can return items without too much hassle. But others, not so much. In some states, the protections are minimal, leaving consumers at the mercy of store policies. This means your right to a refund can vary dramatically, depending on where you're shopping. What's acceptable in one state might not be in another, and the same goes for different stores. And that little tag on your clothes? The one you eagerly ripped off the minute you got home? It might seem insignificant, but it can play a crucial role in whether you get your money back. Well, that can be a point of contention. Some stores are very strict about tags being intact, using it as a key factor in their return policy. While some stores might be lenient, others use it as a reason to deny your refund. They might argue that the absence of a tag indicates the item was worn or used, even if it wasn't. They might claim it's proof the item was worn or used, even if it wasn't. This can lead to frustrating disputes and a lot of wasted time. The Federal Trade Commission does offer some general guidelines, though. These guidelines are meant to provide a baseline for consumer rights, but they are not always enforceable. They state that if a store doesn't have a specific return policy posted, it's generally required to offer a refund within a reasonable time frame. However, what constitutes a reasonable time frame can be quite subjective, but reasonable can be open to interpretation, right? What one person considers reasonable might be seen as too short or too long by someone else. So, what's the takeaway here? Always, and I mean always, check a store's return policy before you buy. This simple step can save you a lot of trouble down the line. Look for details about the return window, conditions for a full refund, and any restocking fees they might charge. These details can make a big difference in your shopping experience. And if you're unsure about something, don't hesitate to ask. Store employees are there to help, and it's better to get clarity up front. It's better to be informed up front than stuck with buyer's remorse and a closet full of unreturnable items. Knowledge is power, and in this case it can also save you money and frustration. Now let's hop across the pond to the United Kingdom, where things are a bit different. The UK has a unique approach to consumer rights, especially when it comes to returns and refunds. This is largely due to the robust legal framework that protects consumers, ensuring they have a fair and transparent shopping experience. The UK has a more consumer-friendly approach to returns, thanks in part to the Consumer Rights Act of 2015. This act is a cornerstone of consumer protection in the UK, providing clear guidelines and rights for both consumers and businesses. This act gives shoppers a 14-day window to change their minds about a purchase, no questions asked. This cooling off period is designed to give consumers the time they need to decide if a product is right for them without any pressure. That means even if you've removed the tags and tried something on, you have the right to return it for a full refund within those 14 days. This is particularly beneficial for clothing and footwear purchases, where fit and comfort can only be assessed after trying the items on at home. Of course, the item should be in a resellable condition, meaning it's not damaged and has all its original packaging. This ensures that businesses can still sell the returned items to other customers, maintaining a balance between consumer rights and business interests. But here's where it gets interesting. The UK also recognizes something called a statutory right to reject. This right is a powerful tool for consumers, giving them additional protection against faulty or misrepresented products. This means, if a product is faulty or not as described, you have up to 30 days to return it for a full refund, regardless of whether you've removed the tags or not. This provision ensures that consumers are not stuck with defective products and can get their money back without hassle. And it gets even better. After those 30 days, you still have some recourse. The Consumer Rights Act provides additional protections that extend beyond the initial 30-day period. You can request a repair or replacement for up to 6 months after purchase if the item turns out to be faulty. This extended period allows consumers to have confidence in their purchases, knowing that they are covered for a significant amount of time. The UK's consumer protection laws are designed to give shoppers peace of mind, knowing they have a safety net if something goes wrong with their purchase. These laws are among the most comprehensive in the world, reflecting the UK's commitment to consumer rights. So, if you're shopping in the UK, remember your rights and don't be afraid to exercise them. Whether it's a change of mind or a faulty product, the law is on your side, ensuring a fair and satisfactory shopping experience. Germany, known for its precision and efficiency, also brings that same spirit to its return policies. The country is renowned for its meticulous approach to almost everything, and this extends to how they handle consumer rights and returns. Whether you're shopping in a bustling city like Berlin or a quaint town in Bavaria, the rules are clear and consistent. The system is quite structured, with clear guidelines for both shoppers and retailers. This means that when you walk into a store, you know exactly what to expect. The signage is clear, the policies are transparent, and there's a sense of order that makes the shopping experience straightforward and hassle-free. Now, when it comes to simply changing your mind about a purchase, Germany's laws aren't as lenient as the UK's. In the UK, you might be used to a more flexible approach where you can return items just because you've had a change of heart. But in Germany, the rules are stricter. This can be a bit frustrating for those who are used to more lenient policies. There's no general right to return an item simply because you've had a change of heart. This means that if you buy something and later decide you don't want it, you might be out of luck. However, this strictness is balanced by other consumer protections that are quite robust. However, if you purchase something online or remotely, you do have a 14-day cooling-off period. This is a significant protection for consumers, especially in the age of online shopping. It allows you to inspect the product in the comfort of your home and decide if it meets your expectations. This means you can return the item for any reason, as long as you notify the seller within those 14 days. This cooling-off period is a great way to ensure that you're satisfied with your purchase, and it provides a safety net for those who might be unsure about their decision. But where Germany really shines is in its protection against faulty goods. The country takes product quality very seriously, and there are stringent laws in place to protect consumers from defective items. This is where the German system truly stands out. They have a robust system in place known as Gewährleistungsrecht, which essentially means warranty right. This law is designed to ensure that consumers are not left with faulty products and that they receive the quality they were promised. This law states that if a product is defective, you have the right to a repair or replacement for up to 2 years after purchase. This is a significant period, giving consumers ample time to discover any issues and seek redress. And there's a catch here that benefits consumers. For the first 6 months after purchase, the burden of proof, lies with the seller. This means that if something goes wrong with the product, it's up to the seller to prove that the item wasn't faulty at the time of purchase. This means they have to prove the item wasn't faulty when you bought it. This is a significant advantage for consumers, as it places the responsibility on the seller to ensure the quality of their products. After 6 months, the burden shifts to the buyer. This means that if a fault develops after this period, it's up to the consumer to prove that the defect was present at the time of purchase. While this might seem like a disadvantage, the initial 6-month period provides a strong layer of protection. So, while Germany might not offer a free-for-all on returns, their system is designed to protect consumers from faulty products and ensure they get what they paid for. The balance between strict return policies and robust consumer protections creates a fair and reliable shopping environment, reflecting Germany's commitment to quality and consumer rights. South Korea, a global leader in technology and innovation, also has a unique approach to return policies. The country has a strong online shopping culture, and its laws reflect that. In general, South Korea has a 7-day cooling-off period for online purchases. This means you can return an item for a full refund within 7 days of receiving it, regardless of the reason. However, this right doesn't always apply to offline purchases. When it comes to faulty products, South Korea has a system similar to Germany's. Consumers have the right to request a repair, exchange, or refund for defective goods within a certain period. This period can vary depending on the product, but it's typically 6 months to a year. One interesting aspect of South Korean consumer law is the Product Liability Act. This act holds manufacturers liable for damages caused by defective products, even if the seller wasn't at fault. This means consumers have an additional layer of protection if they purchase a faulty product. While navigating return policies in South Korea might require a bit of research, the country's laws are designed to protect consumers and promote fair trade practices. Japan, a country known for its exceptional customer service and attention to detail, also has a unique approach to return policies. The concept of omotenashi, which emphasizes hospitality and anticipating customer needs, plays a role in how returns are handled. Now, legally speaking, Japan doesn't have a mandated return policy for change-of-mind purchases. This means it's largely up to the individual store to decide whether or not to accept returns. However, and this is where omotenashi comes in, many Japanese retailers are incredibly customer-centric and will often accept returns even without a legal obligation to do so. They understand that a satisfied customer is a returning customer. When it comes to defective products, Japan has strong consumer protection laws. The Act on Specified Commercial Transactions gives consumers the right to return faulty goods for a refund or exchange within a specific period, usually within 6 months of purchase. One thing to keep in mind is that Japanese culture values politeness and respect. When returning an item, it's important to be courteous and explain the reason for the return clearly. A little bit of courtesy can go a long way in ensuring a smooth return process. So, the next time you're about to rip off those tags or toss out that receipt, remember what we've discussed. Return policies might seem like a small detail, but they can make a big difference in your shopping experience. Knowing your rights as a consumer and understanding the return policies of the countries you're shopping in can save you time, money, and a whole lot of frustration. Remember, every country has its own unique approach to consumer protection, and what might be considered standard practice in one place could be unheard of in another. Do your research, read the fine print, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And most importantly, share your own experiences. What are the return policies like in your country? Have you ever had a particularly good or bad experience with returns? Let's keep the conversation going in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Blood Trail AI for more insightful content.